everyone! This week, we celebrate the 18th week in Ordinary Time. Ordinary Time is green because we are growing in our understanding of Jesus and his teachings.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Jesus told the crowd his story. A rich man's farm produced a big crop, and he said to himself, "What can I do? I don't have a place large enough to store everything." Later he said, "Now I know what I'll do. I'll tear down my barns and build bigger ones, where I can store all my grains and other goods. Then I'll say to myself, 'You have stored up enough good things to last for years to come. Live it up, eat, drink, and enjoy yourself.' But God said to him, 'You fool, tonight you will die. Then who will get what you have stored up?' This is what happens to the people who store up everything for themselves, but are poor in the sight of God." The Gospel of the Lord.
In this week's Gospel, Jesus tells us the story of a man who learns what really matters in life. A rich man had a farm where there was a huge crop. Instead of seeing how lucky he was, he saw it as a problem. What do I do with the extra crop? Maybe he should have shared it. For sure, he should have thanked God for it. But instead of turning to others or to God, he turned to himself for the answer. He had an idea. If he built bigger barns, he could store up the whole crop for years and then just relax living off of the stored crop. The idea seems to make sense to people. It makes sense to me. Save up and then relax. It's not really doing anything wrong. It doesn't hurt anyone. But as always, God sees things we don't. God sees something much bigger for his life. Something so much more exciting than just having enough to eat so he can relax. God sees our lives as something special, that we can do something amazing. God said to the man he was a fool. What if he died tonight? What would happen to everything he stored up? There would be no one to enjoy it. It would have had no purpose for him to have had so much extra. God said this is what happens to people who store up everything for themselves, but are poor in the sight of God. They may have barns full of crops, but they may not have anyone to share it with. In God's eyes, someone like that is poor. They are poor in friends and in love. But there's another way the man was poor in the eyes of God. When he saw the extra crop, he forgot to thank God for it, or even ask God what to do with it. He felt like he had to come up with the solution himself. That is also a way to be poor. He's poor in God's spirit. When we forget about God and others, it may not seem like we're doing anything bad, but we're missing something wonderful. Without love and God's Spirit, we're missing out on a full life. So it turns out we actually are doing something bad to someone. We're taking away from ourselves, and we're taking away from God, who depends on us to bring his Spirit to the world. We are so lucky. I'm sure every one of us this week will discover in some way how we have a big crop. Maybe we have extra food, or extra time, or extra money, or we're feeling kind. Let's think of others. And most importantly, let's turn to God on what to do. Then we can have a full life for ourselves and help others and be there for God.